You know whether what you're feeling is anxiety, whether it's normal or not. Look, these are the 5 most common signs of anxiety that often you go unnoticed. Sometimes it's better to identify them and if it's necessary, taking action of them. When I reached my 20s, it was really hard to understand what's happening in my body, and believe me, it's normal to feel this way. And above, it's all absolutely not your fault. You're not exaggerating. The body gets scared when the alarm is activated. I'm honest, I'm a professional psychologist who has seen this situation so many times in therapy and in group therapy and in my own skin. I'm going to give you the most common signs of anxiety so you can identify them in time and some tricks so that you can also regulate. The first one, intense worry. That's hard to shut off with anxiety. It's quite common to feel your mind racing and have lots of repetitive what if thoughts. What if it goes badly? What if doesn't turn out the way I hope? We are always anticipating the worst. It's hard to let it go, right? Even if you know that holding on to that thought isn't very useful. And sometimes it can include the need to seek reassurance or thinking it over and over again. Your mind goes into danger mode, or nervous system goes into defense mode that tries to survive at all costs by preventing dangers. But it ends overestimating the risk and underestimating your ability to cope with it. What you can do? The first thing is to come back to the present. For that, it's important to level the thought. That way we differentiate it and become aware that we are only having a thought and that is not necessarily real. You can say something like this is anxiety, worry, it's not a real fact. And it can also help a lot to have a time to worry. I'll look at it at 6:30 p.m. When the times come, you accept that you feel and then write possible real solutions. Do you feel strong heartbeats, tightness or stabbing sensation in your chest, difficulty breathing, sweating, nausea, or an urgent need to go to the bathroom? It feels terrible. When I got into my 20s, I didn't know these things could happen and I already feel like I was going to die. From cardiac arrest, like I was having a heart attack. There's even a sensation of losing control. It's a feeling that's hard to describe, feeling you're going to go crazy. I get you. When it happened to me, I got very scared. And here's something very important. Anxiety can feel very strong in the body, but if you have intense chest pain, fainting, shortness of breath that doesn't let up, or new and very severe symptoms, seek medical attention immediately. Sometimes it seems like anxiety, but it's better to rule things out. Why does this happen? When we are very nervous, our nervous system activates very strongly and by default switches into 2 modes. Fight or flight. Adrenaline is released and the body prepares to react. The heart speeds up and pumps harder. The muscles tense up, breathing changes, and yes, even if you say I'm not hyperventilating, sometimes we hyperventilate without realizing it, and that causes dizziness or tingling. What you can do? Breathing is an excellent tool. Breathing with the diaphragm, it's much better, and if you don't know how to do it, there are good tutorials on YouTube for it. Restlessness and irritability. When your nervous system is highly activated, anything alerts you. You can stay still. It's like having had an energy drink and trying to sleep. This happens because your body keeps the engine running. It's ready to react, even if there's not real danger. And because you're in alert mode, your tolerance drops and everything feels more intense. You can do the breathing exercise from the previous point. Some quickly intense exercise you can do in that moment, like squats or push-up for 30 or 90 seconds as a way to get all that accumulated activation out of the body. You'll feel more relaxed, and by the way, if you have high anxiety, reduce caffeine for a while. For many people, it increases symptoms. For now, if you have some symptoms, it's better to avoid coffee and energy drinks, which brings me to the next one. Sleep problems. You take a long time to fall asleep. You wake up in the middle of the night and you can get up tired even if you slept many hours. When I live something similar, waking up without having rest and can make the anxiety cycle increase. Sleeping requires a state of safety. Safety that you're not going to die while you sleep. It sounds a little bit extreme, but your mind only knows about surviving or not survive. And when you're anxious, it does everything possible to alert you all the time. The mind will constantly be producing cortisol. You can also have more trouble sleeping if when you get into bed you're thinking and you use your bed as a place to worry or think. what you can do? You can do two things. Either you do a mental shutdown by writing in a notebook write 3 columns: worry, concrete action tomorrow, and let it go for today. For example, worry: what if tomorrow goes badly in the meeting? Action tomorrow: review agenda 10 minutes at 9 a.m. and prepare 3 key points. And let it go for today: I can solve the outcome today, I can only prepare. Or if you can sleep, get out of the bed and do something boring and in low light. Read something gentle until sleep returns. That way you don't train the bed as a place for anxiety, difficulty concentrating. Personally, I've reached a very extreme point with anxiety. I would go to the gym and do reps, and I was so anxious in my daily life that I constantly forgot how many reps I was doing. And not only that, it can happen to you too. Rereading the same thing several times, forgetfulness, being scattered, feeling the famous foggy mind where you feel like you can't think very clearly about the things, and all attention goes to what you feel anxiety about, and you start constantly monitoring internal, external threats, thinking, how is my breathing? What if something goes wrong? That vigilance seriously consumes a lot of mental resources. Added to poor sleep and physical tension, it's hard to maintain focus. You can do a mini Pomodoro 10 to 15 minutes. Set a timer and do only one small task. When it goes off, rest 2 or 3 minutes and repeat. Anxiety hates the start. This makes it really easy. Anxiety can complicate things a bit when we don't understand it very well, and these techniques can regulate a bit the moment when anxiety shows up. As a psychologist, these techniques are only to take the first action toward living in a well-being. If you want to keep learning about anxiety, subscribe, because I'll share very powerful content that helped me personally and make these years of career very rewarding. My name is Juanes, and goodbye.